Well, good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday Bible sketching. And this is pre-recorded, so it's a little different. It will be a little different. And I'm also going to do the verse a little different today. Um, so I have to be gone this next um, Tuesday, so going to pre-record, and some of these different ones coming up are going to be pre-recorded. So here I have the classic Strong's Concordance, and I did not look ahead really at this, but we were talking to our kids about James. Is it James Strong? James Strong, yes. And we pulled this out, and I was just explaining to them what it was. But I saw something in here that intrigued me right here. Now it's a little washed out. But here there are prayers. This is a list of prayers of the Bible. And I just thought of this like minutes ago. I was going to pull up today's verse. But anyway, I thought I would try to draw a prayer of the Bible. So let's see. How do I want to do this? I don't know that I want to just take the first one. I'm going to look for one that interests me because it says what it's for. Like here's Abraham. Sorry if you can't read that, but I'll tell you. Here it says Abraham for a son. Abraham's servant for guidance. I like that one. So, okay, I'll go with that one. All right, so that looks long. So I may just kind of read a little bit, and if something intrigues me, I'll stop and draw. But, so we're Genesis 24. And I'm going old school here, using a paper paged Bible rather than my phone. So Genesis 24:12, 12 to 52. Alright, so we'll set this book aside. Need more workspace here. I'm going to leave it open though, just in case whatever. Okay, Genesis 24:12. I like that. This topic, little side topic, shopping for a wife. Okay. Then he prayed. So I'm just going to back up here. The servant left, taking with him 10 of his master's camels, loaded with all kinds of good things from his master. He set out for Aram Naharaim and made his way to the town of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down near the well outside the town. It was toward evening, the time the women go out to draw water. Then he prayed. So here's the prayer. Lord, God of my master Abraham, make me successful today and show kindness to my master Abraham. That kind of sparks in a little bit of enough for me, but I'm going to go on just a little bit more. See, I am standing beside the spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let down your jar that I may have a drink, and she says, drink. He's kind of saying, this is how I will know, Lord, that this is what should happen. So if she says, drink, and I'll water your camels too, let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. So just imagining being, well, I'll start drawing it. I was going to try to, initially I was thinking, oh, I'll relate this prayer to myself. But kind of think I just want to tackle the story at hand. It's got a chiseled edge. That might be interesting. I pulled these out last time, and actually, yeah, my last video, didn't work. It recorded like 4 minutes and then it just stopped. That one's busted, so trash. And that one is too tiny. Alright, I'll try the chiseled edge to begin with. So, whoops, that's the brush. So this will just be kind of storyboarding, story writing. So we've got, what's his name? The Servant. I think he's just called The Servant. So he's loaded up, and he's been tasked with, just imagine being tasked with, hey, go pick out a wife for my son. It's for his son, right? Yes. So he's going to be riding his camel. Oh boy, how do you draw a camel? Trying to think of if the ears would go up or down. I saw a camel this last year. I don't really remember. I remember joking about it because we saw it at the fair where you see typical farm animals. And I just commented like, that's a weird horse. I feel like just without ears right now it looks kind of right. So I'm just gonna let it not have ears for now. Legs down to the stirrups. Probably gonna have some bags loaded with stuff. That seems like a long camel, but oh well. And of course the sort of backwards legs. I should have put those back more. And the camel's known for their big hoofed feet. Alright, I feel like his head should be bigger, so I'll just... And probably should make one of these legs kind of moving. Add a little motion. I don't even know what their tails are like. So I'll just do kind of deserty land. So you get kind of the idea that like, okay, he's setting out on this journey. And maybe over here is the well. It can be sort of whatever. And the path kind of feels like that's where you should go, where he should go. Just the way the lay of the land is. And there's hot sun coming down. Ooh, can you imagine living in the desert? I think I'm okay with this. It's kind of a lot to throw on a paper. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe you feel this way with sketching or painting. You just kind of worry about wasting a page. And, you know, I used to have this a lot more. I used to worry like, well, you know, I paid for this paper, and especially if it's more expensive paper, like one thing I still have a hard time with is like watercolor. Like there's most watercolor paper I do not like, especially cheaper kind, and there's only one really that I've found for me that works the way I want it to. So like it doesn't do any good for me to practice on bad watercolor paper, because it just, the paint doesn't blend the way I want it to. And so anyway, I just have a hard time like using some of that paper for practice, because I'd love to just sketch something out, try some stuff, set it aside, do another one, and I could go through a, I don't know, $15–20, they come in like sets of 12 or something, and I could do that in a day. So to practice every day, that's just a lot of money. But I try to be a little selective, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm kind of worried. I just thought I'd bring that up in case that's a hindrance, and I think it's something you got to practice. So if you're going to practice, you need paper or some solution. All right, so getting back to this. So I drew him setting out, and I'm sure he was just like thinking, do you ever have prayers like this where you're just thinking, how in the world am I going to find, I'm supposed to find a wife for my master's son? Not that any of us really are tasked with that these days. So we'll do the good old worry eyes. On this gentle Israelite gentleman. So he probably had plenty of time to think as he's riding along, getting hot, uncomfortable. Very thirsty. He probably packed some water, but could only bring so much. All right, so there he is with his worried eyes. And so he prays. And he says, Lord God of my master Abraham. That's kind of interesting that it refers to him as the God of his master Abraham and not of himself. I don't know what to, it makes sense, I guess, for the times. It's kind of a humbling thought. Like, just imagine, we'll just say, like, your pastor is a representative of God. So, praying to God and saying, God, God of my pastor. All right. Make me successful today. Have you ever prayed that? I was praying that this morning. I like to go out to, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. This might be a little light at first, but it'll fill in. But I drove out to the lake very early this morning, like at 5 o'clock, 5:30. I got out there and I had my Bible and I started walking and praying. Well, walking and reading, I guess, more than anything, but talking with God as I read. And it was the story of David and Goliath. And so I just kind of took my time. I would read maybe a sentence at a time, and I would just kind of let it sink in. I'd think about what I was reading. All right, I'll darken this up a little bit. But I guess I think this is a common thing for most people today. We feel, so I'm just going to go for it and say most of us are in this position. You've got kind of your passions, your things that this is what I really want to do. But then you kind of feel like life, other stuff just is what you end up doing, what you end up having to do, rather than uh, doing those things that you feel most passionate about, that you feel most purposeful about. So I was just thinking about that this morning. I'm a dreamer, and so I was just contemplating, you know, Lord, you give me these passions with art, music, creating, but I just don't feel like I'm being productive with them. What do I make of this? So I just had a time with God this morning. Let's use that brush pen, maybe. Ooh, ever so lightly. Can I keep it light? Nope, it's gonna go dark. Oh well. I just don't feel like you can see what's happening in the back there as well. But I was contemplating that, praying about that, letting the Lord speak to me, whatever He had to say about that. And maybe you're wondering, what is the answer? I know the answers the Lord gave me about it. I don't know that if it's appropriate to share that, because your situation might be different. I don't want to create a rule about it, but I think the main thing is come into the Lord about that. Give me success, or, what do I do with what you've given me? And I think something I can share is just that um, a lot of times I feel afraid or like something's not going to work. I feel this deep excitement and passion, like the Lord's pulling me in this direction. And let's just say, in general, art, doing art. And I'm like, yes, Lord, I'm ready to go about this and go for this. And then I get into it, and then it's like, oh, this is hard, or this doesn't work, or finding the challenges of it. There's things I need to do that are uncomfortable, and I need to get to know new people. And one thing I struggle with sometimes is just like I need models, I need people to pose for me, and it's just kind of it can be a awkward situation both doing it. I mean, I've gotten fairly used to it, but um, it can be an awkward situation asking people to do it, just worried about what they'll think about it. Some people think you're weird for asking that. Um, and yeah, I just kind of need to face those fears and trust that the Lord will provide what I need. And so, anyway, let's get back. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Got about 10 minutes. Okay. So he asked for success and show kindness to my master Abraham. It's pretty selfless. See, I am standing beside the spring. Oh, so he's got some water. Oh, so anyway, he's arrived. Oh, I drew it as a a well. I guess it is a well. I'm standing beside the spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. So he's praying as he's seeing this happen. I don't know what that was. So he's kind of, let's say he's knelt down at this sort of spring. I don't know if that means kind of a river or just a little pool. And his camel is taking a drink. Wait, but they're already getting a drink, so why would he... I'm doing this wrong. Because then he's wanting them to offer him a drink. Let's read this and see. I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water, so it must be down low. Please let down your jar that I may have a drink. Okay, so it is more of a well. So he is... This is why I think it's interesting trying to draw out Bible stories, or sometimes I've written out, tried to, like stories where there's like all these kings, they'll name like 10 kings, and you kind of lose track of who's on what side. And so sometimes I've like laid it all out, and it's actually quite insightful. It's helped me to understand a lot more deeply. You think it's just facts, I guess. I kind of want him looking up. Let's say he's got his arm resting up on the donkey or camel. I'm gonna make the camel looking at him. That looks like a dinosaur. I don't know that it says what oh, he had the camels. And then it says they were kneeling, so they were kneeling. Oh my gosh. Alright. There you just, this one's standing. He has a bunch of camels, and apparently maybe he rode with multiple people, so. His dinosaur camel. Are here, and here is kind of a stony thing. Get that squared up for you. helps you kind of understand that that's the well. And maybe it's like he doesn't have anything to like let down there. And so here come the women. With their jars. Let's say this one's got like the hanging type jars. Maybe they carried them on their heads. Who knows? That almost looks like a Jesus figure. Could there be any insights there? I'm not going to go there. Some people might. So here's the women coming out, and let's say back here is kind of like the city that they're having to walk from to get here to the well. And so he is praying. Add some shadow so you know you sense the space. Add another little kind of mountain line. Mountain line, not mountain lion. I'm going to go back to the scripture here. See, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a young woman, please let down your jar that I might have a drink, and she says, drink, and I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. That is a bold prayer. Do you ever pray? How much time do I got? I have 1.5 minutes. Can I spit something out here? We will see. I just got a, this is kind of comical, but different idea. Just to be kind of representative. I don't know if he looks like what I'm intending for him to look like, but I'll explain and just let it be what it is. I feel like his arms maybe should have gone up. But this is sort of like a leaping prayer. I was starting to draw another person here. That's different. But over here is this cliff. And this guy is like, maybe if I color this in, that will help. Oh, my watch is going off. This guy is just like running and jumping off a cliff, praying. He's supposed to be like holding his hands up in prayer. I'm not suggesting at all that anybody ever does this, but just representing that leap of a bold prayer. Can you pray for something to happen very specifically, or that if a certain thing happens, and trust that the Lord will provide the answer just based on sort of the parameters that you set up? I have prayed in that way a number of times. especially when I'm just very confused and I just say, Lord, I need something really concrete here. And so I just say, if this happens, I will know this is the decision to be made. So I think I think it's important to be careful with that. Let the Lord lead you in that, or maybe you're just kind of in desperation. Not be too loose with it, but those are just my thoughts on it. That's not at all gospel. But anyway, I think my favorite drawing from today, I don't know that I really explained this, but this was kind of the situation I was in this morning as I was praying and asking for guidance, for success, for counseling, um, and just relating it to this servant of Abraham. So that is the drawing for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I should be here next week with another what do we call this? Tuesday Bible sketching. So thanks again. We'll see you later.